January 10th, 2020. Fuck, hold on. Wednesday, January 10th, 2020. This is not going to be an artistic podcast. This is going to be purely business. So I started making merch. I'm gonna have 10 shirts made, which I don't think is enough based off of how many people messaged me, but I'm also connected to my experience of this stuff. Always lowball. Usually when people say, yeah, I'm gonna come to a show or I buy merch, usually they mean well, but they're not actually gonna follow through. I've given up on expecting people to follow through. So I'm gonna have 10 shirts. I'm gonna sell them at $30 so I can make a profit, and we'll see what happens. And then I'm gonna make stickers and buttons, and I'm gonna save shot glasses for later. Lighters were just crazy expensive, and I didn't want to make crackhead lighters for people. I want you to get real, good old-fashioned marijuana smoking lighters, guys, because I'm about quality and efficiency. But I'm starting to make merch, and I'm going to use quotes from my stand-up. I think that... that doesn't feel good. I'm going to use quotes from my stand-up. So one of the quotes that seemed to resonate with people consistently was 3 a.m. at Denny's Energy, or 3 a.m. Denny's Energy. People seem to... from the audience's perspective, I know you're not seeing it, but from my perspective, when I watch the audience, I see all of your faces. I see your faces when you like stuff, when you don't like stuff, and it's very visceral. So when people seem to really like stuff and latch onto it consistently, and this is why comedians have to say jokes over and over again, because you have to see how people are handling it in mass. And that joke consistently, people emotionally latch onto it. It's fascinating. So I've been thinking, like, in terms of promoting myself, if I put quotes from my jokes that people relate to on an emotional level, obviously I want them to find it funny, but if they if it resonates with them on like some sort of personal level, I think that they're more willing to buy the merch, and they'll be okay with listening to the jokes, again multiple times. So one of the things that I'm doing, one of the things that's hard about this, about what I'm doing or the way I'm doing this, is that I have to repeat the material. That's kind of part of it. It's part of comedy. And these people that are coming out, when they say to me, I want to come out and see you on the street. It's like, I'm out there for hours. You're going to hear me say the same shit. If you listen to this podcast, you're going to hear the same shit. That's just what it is. And so I've realized, like, if I'm just trying to be funny, that's my goal. If I'm just trying to be funny, if I'm just trying to hit people with laughs over and over and over again, then that's going to become boring. Like, I would imagine you don't rewatch your favorite straight-up comedy often, but you'll rewatch a drama or a dramedy or a horror film or whatever. Other movies like that you'll rewatch. Or you're not going to rewatch, you're not going to re-listen. Nobody is driving down Sunset with the top down bumping Weird Al Yankovic. Nobody's doing that. Nobody's like, Nick, fuck listen to Biggie Smalls Ready to Die. Nigga, I want to listen to Weird Al Yankovic Eat It, where he parodies Michael Jackson. Like, no one listens to that. Or fucking Lonely Island. This is the neighborhood I live in. Big white fucking truck again, staring at me in anger. All right, there goes a Jeep staring at me in anger. I'm fuck, god damn it. All right, no, we're gonna focus. All right, so what was I saying? People, I want the jokes to work and I want them to land, but on a business, in terms of business, it wouldn't be smart for me to I don't know, it would be smart for me to market myself in a particular way. Now, obviously, I'm going to eventually burn this material, so if you enjoy those shirts or whatever, know that that's going to be a moment in time, and eventually I'm going to elaborate from there. I'm going to evolve from there. But that's my plan. So I'm going to put 3 a.m. Denny's Energy on these items and then add my name or ACMM or something so I can market myself like that. And this is something I really want to express to whatever fan base I seem to be developing. I don't know if you guys know this, the difference between like just a regular booked show and a bringer show. So when you're trying to become a comedian, the process is usually hit open mics and do that for a couple of years and fucking bomb and suck and no one respects you. Then over time, you start to build up enough material, you start to figure it out, and then you get about 10 minutes roughly. And then you start getting booked for bringer shows if you're consistent enough. And you bring people. So bringer shows, I have this, god damn, it's that same fucking truck. Same fucking truck, dude. I fucking hate this goddamn neighborhood. So bringer shows, yeah. So bringer shows are this weird negative necessity. As a producer, when you're trying to produce a show, obviously you need people to come and you need people to bring people. That's part of it. It's revenue. This is a business. This is an art form, but it's also a business. And so what they do is they get young comics, new comics, who aren't very good, if I'm being honest, including myself. I've fallen into this trap before. Not very good, but you're on the Improv, you're at the Comedy Store, you're at fucking Flappers, you're at whatever big show, and you're at the Ice House, and they expect you to bring people. So what you do when you're a new comic is you fuck up and you bring your friends and family. You have mediocre material because you've been doing it for like 2 years. You have mediocre 10 minutes. You bring your friends and family. They're supportive, and that's great. Then what ends up happening is if you want to get booked on those shows again, you got to bring more people. However, you've been doing open mics for 5 to 3 minutes at a time. And so the people, audience members, they can see if you're funny, but they don't have any sort of emotional connection to you. And so when they don't have an emotional connection, they don't feel the need to go see you at real shows. So then you end up bringing your friends and family again. And then a good 2-3 more times of that, they're like, all right, well, I know your material and the rest of the show is dog shit because the rest of the people that are being booked have been doing it 2 or 3 years and aren't very good. So I would say, what am I saying? So if you're an audience member, if you're listening to me, whenever I go back to normal shows, that's important. And this is not even just for me. This is for comedians in general. Whenever things go back to any sort of relative normal, go to open mics, find a comedian that you just genuinely find funny, and then go to their book shows. Go to their bringer shows. I can't describe to you what it will what you'll be doing for an up and coming comic if you just show up to one of their book shows and they don't know it, and you go over to them and you say, hey, I saw you at open mic, I love your stuff, and I'm going to continue to follow you, I'm going to continue going to your shows and being supportive. That's how comedians become successful, is if the audience, or if they can develop a fan base to go to these shows, then those shows, then once the promoters realize, like, oh, there's a fan base for this, people are coming to support and they're paying money. God fucking damn it. It's fucking goddamn dogs. So when it comes to me, if you're trying to be supportive, which I hope you are and is appreciated, that's what's really important, is that people come out to the shows. If I do a show at the Improv, at first it's like, oh, he was at the Improv. That gives you a little bit of clout. But what ends up happening is if people don't want to consistently come to see you, the Improv doesn't give a fuck. They don't care how funny I am. They want to make sure that I'm bringing in revenue. And the only way to bring in revenue is to have fans, people that just genuinely want to see you. That's not your fucking mom. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to build a fan base. I'm trying to let you guys know this is the process, is that, support. Oh, fuck off. All right, hopefully it's not too loud. Yeah, this is the business end of things. I need to find people willing to buy merch. I need to find people willing to go out to shows and consistently. and come out to see shows. And part of that, and this is the audience, between the audience and the performer, there's a relationship. My relationship to the audience is like, I need to make sure you're entertained and you're enjoying yourself and that you're getting something out of this. And you need to be willing to support monetarily, fiscally. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to continue to do the things that I'm trying to do. If I'm not making money, I have to get a day job and I have to work my day job. And I know that this sounds strange, but it is really hard to work all day, try to write when you're in a place that is completely suffocating for you as a person, and then try to perform every night. And then you're out every night, late at night till like fucking midnight, waking up at 6 a.m., doing this fucking job all day, and there's no time to be creative. So luckily quarantine has happened, which has given me more time. But letting you know, this isn't just for me. Don't get me wrong, I'm selfish and I do want you to support me. I want you to buy merch, and when shows start happening, I want you to come out to shows. But this is also for comics in general. When you get a chance, go to an open mic. It's a lot of fun. It's shitty. It's really bad. You're going to see a lot of bad comedy, but that's kind of part of it. That's what this podcast is showing you what the process is. And the process is fascinating, and it's arduous, and it's awkward, and it's exciting, and it's boring, and it's a lot of things. And I want more people to appreciate what stand-up comedy is. But I'm getting to my little artsy-fartsy mode, sticking to business here. So yeah, I'm making t-shirts, stickers, and buttons, and basically just know, if you're a fan of this, you got to come out to book shows. You got to come out to these shows that do cost money to go to, because that's letting them know that people want to see me. And then if I can show them that people want to see me, people are willing to pay to see me, they're going to book me more, then you can see me more. Then the audience gets bigger and it grows that way. It's so fucking hard to develop a fan base or an audience because you're doing 5 minutes at open mics, and that's not enough time. The people that are listening right now, I assume you guys are listening because you saw me for hours at a time on the street and you got to know me as a person. But when you're doing 3 to 5 minute sets, yeah, I could be fucking hilarious. I could be great. But you don't give a fuck about me on a personal level. You're not going to be like, oh, I want to support that guy. That's not how that works. So whatever I'm doing with street stand-up seems to be working in terms of building a fan base and trying to make a business out of this. So please understand, I'm trying to set a precedent. I'm not going to say the name and or names of the people, but I've had conversations with people. Richard Villa. I had a conversation with Richard Villa, actually. He, in case you don't know, he works with Tom Segura. Name drop! All right, he works with Tom Segura, and I think he's one of his Mexican openers, Spanish openers. And he was talking to me about that. Well, how like, you can't, if people aren't supportive, you can't do this full time, and you have to set a precedence. And comics who are at my level and below and a little bit above will do this thing where they give out free tickets to people just to put butts in seats. And I get that. There's that still the 2-item minimum thing going on. The club still makes money, and that's great. And I understand that comedy clubs are expensive. But what ends up happening is you've set a precedent now for your audience, and you've told them, like, this is my show is worth zero money. You're gonna have to pay a minimum, but the show itself is worth zero money. And when you set that precedence, it's hard to come back from that. When years down the line, when you're 10 years in and you are really good, it's going to be really hard to convince people, like, hey, you pay money for me now, because they're used to paying for you for free. They see you as a free commodity. So I don't want that to happen when I'm on the street. I don't want people to see it like as oh, well, it's free. I want you to see me as someone who is not a headliner yet. I'm not there yet. I'm still working at it. But invest in me. Invest in me as an artist, and invest in me as a businessman. Invest in me and watch me grow. See what happens. Everyone loves an underdog. And god damn it, if there's anything I represent, is pretty much an underdog right now. You have to invest. That's the only way I can keep doing this. And I learned this through quarantine. This respect for the audience is the only way I can get anywhere is if the audience wants to invest in me. And I've been performing since I was 14, which means I've been advertising and promoting since I was 14. What I've realized is, like, for every 10 people you talk to, it's a big fucking maybe. If one person decides, yeah, okay, I'll see it. It's a huge maybe. And that's why this shit takes 15 years to do. Because there's so many people when you say, hey, do you want to buy a shirt? Hey, do you want to come to a show? Do you want whatever? Do you want to be supportive? People will say yes because it makes them feel good. It makes them feel like, oh, I made that person feel good. And that's nice. But you're lying to the performer. You're saying, yes, I want to come out. Then they're thrown off and they don't actually know how many people plan on coming out. Because they don't, you've lied to them, and then you don't show up, and then it's like 2 people instead of 50 that said they would come. So, and trust me, I've been doing this for years. That's exactly what happens. So, if you're an audience member, if you're a fan of this, if you're listening, please share it. I always tell people to share it to one person because that's feasible, but just know that every one person you share it with, chances are they're not going to give a fuck. They're not going to listen. They're not going to pay attention. And that's just how it is. You have to really fight to get people's attention, and that's why I plan on doing it. But, yeah, so that's a little inside information on that. And support is appreciated. And this isn't just for me. This is for comics in general, though I am selfish, and this is also partly for me. So I'll break this down one more time in short. The merch I am making, I hope you guys enjoy it. And I'm going to try to make it of quality. I don't want to sell you guys fucking crackhead lighters and shit. So I'm going to do the best in terms of quality that I can make, but I am investing my own money in this, so hopefully that works out. And then when things go back to normal and when I'm doing book shows, like when I go to open mics, by all means, come out, watch me bomb. Watch me fucking suck up there. Eat a bag of dicks and work on new material. But when I go to book shows, know that when I'm at the Ice House, when I'm at the Improv, or when I'm at Flappers or whatever, know that that's me bringing the best material I can bring, and know that I know that you've seen it already. And please understand that I'm writing the jokes in such a way that will hopefully resonate with you on an emotional level. That 3 a.m. Denny's energy thing, I wrote in such a way so that it's meant to be funny and whatever, but it's also meant for you to feel heard for once. I know, whoever's listening right now, I know you don't feel heard. So I'm a type of person who's going to hopefully let you feel heard, and hopefully you'll want to come out and see that on an emotional level. So I want it to be funny, but you'll get to see normal people hear your perspective for once. And that's the business angle I'm taking with this. So you're going to hear the jokes already. I'm going to let you know now, man. You're going to hear the jokes if you come out to a book show. But the way I'm writing those jokes is a little more special than just jokes. And, I hope you guys come out to support shows when shows happen. So, yeah. If you know one person that you think would enjoy this, please share it with them. And until next time.